Welcome back guys to a brand new episode of Mastering Programming. In today's episode I'll show you how you can use NFC capabilities inside of an iOS app to activate NFC tags with a URL. What does that mean? It means that you can put any URL or social media social media account on this tag, and as soon as you bring it close to the phone, as you can see, a notification will pop up and you'll be able to go to that link. Now just a quick demo I'll show you here, and I'll put any URL I want, so I'll put https://www.tapaway.com.au. Now if you don't know, this is actually my website where you can contact me, you can get in touch with me, you can hire me to complete a project for you, or you can simply contact me to get some advice. You can also purchase NFC tags like these ones, where you can put on your dog. If it gets lost, someone can scan it and know where you are. Anyway, let's click on activate tag. If I bring the tag close to the phone, let me do that one more time. So if I click on activate tag, bring the tag close to the phone, now this tag is activated. All I need to do to scan this tag is simply bring it to the back of my iPhone. As you can see, a notification pops up, I can click on it, and as you can see, here you have my website straight away. Now you can also obviously use this to create projects like Popl, which I actually did multiple times, as you can see, or anything else like that. Let's just try one more website. Let's try YouTube, for example, or Apple. And I'm going to click on activate tag. I'll bring the tag close to my phone. Now let's do it again, and this will obviously work outside of the app as well. And there you go, apple.com.au shows up straight away. Thanks so much for clicking on this video. Make sure you follow it. This will get you started with your Popl project, or if you want to do anything else, if you want to use URLs in your NFC app. Thanks so much for watching, and please make sure you leave a subscribe and a like. Let's get started. Welcome back guys. Now as you can see, I have already created my view here just to save some time, and the first thing we're going to be doing is we're going to set up our project to start working with NFC capability. To do that, what we're going to be doing is we're going to click on our app name over here, and then what I'll do here is I'll go to signing in capabilities. I'm going to click on plus capability, and I'm going to search up any field communication. I'm going to double click on it. As you can see, if you do have a paid Apple developer account, now remember you have to have a paid Apple developer account in order to actually use this feature, you will be able to integrate any field communication tag reading capability straight away. Then what we're going to be doing is we're going to be heading to our info.plist, and I'm going to be adding a string here which will allow us to ask the user for permission before we use NFC capabilities. To do this, now this is a must. So we're going to hover over information property list, we're going to click on this plus button, and I'm going again to search up it is actually privacy, and then I'm going to type in NFC scan usage, so NFC scan usage description, and over here I'm simply going to type in anything that just pops up to the user. So I'll say something like, this app requires NFC scanning. Obviously, if you're going to be publishing this app in the real world, make sure you do change that name into something else, like actually ask the user and let them know why you're using it. Anyway, let's go back to our main storyboard. Now you're more than welcome to create the exact same view. All I did is pretty much I entered or inserted a text field over here with a button. Now if you're looking into NFC capabilities, I'll assume that you already know how to do this. And now we're going to pretty much integrate it. So I'm going to click on this button over here. I'm going to click on assistant. There we go. And in order to use our buttons, all I'm going to be doing, and our text field, I'm going to hold control, drag this over here, and I'll simply say URL text field. I will do a second time, but this time it's with the button. And now we're going to drag it on line 18 over here. And I'm going to type in activate button, and then I'm going to click on connect. There we go. Now that we have this done, we actually don't need to use our storyboard anymore. So all I'm going to be doing is I will be shutting this, and I will be going to my view controller, and this is where we're actually going to be doing all of our work. So I'm going to make it a little bit bigger just so you can see it, and we're going to start off by typing import for NFC. There we go. And if everything you did correctly with your capabilities, then it should pop up and work exactly how I did it right now. Now before we continue, we need to go over here and we need to prepare our class to start using NFC capabilities. So over here I'm going to type in NFC def reader session delegate. And as soon as you do that, there's going to be a whole bunch of errors. Ignore it for now. We're going to go over here and we're going to say var session, and we're going to call it the session, and it will be of type NFC and def reader session, just like this. Now obviously here I did a mistake. This is what we're going to call it, session. There we go. We're also going to create another variable over here, and it's going to be called the actual data, and this is pretty much going to be the actual link that the user enters. There we go. And now we can actually start working on the functions that we're going to be using in order to use the NFC capabilities. Now, just to avoid having all of these errors over here, I'm going to straight away just add them first, and then we're actually going to work on filling up those functions. So to do that, we're going to need func reader session, and I'm gonna start by this one, the first one, NFC and def reader session did detect tags, and I'm actually going to leave it empty for now. After that, I'm going to type in func reader session again, and pretty much we're going to select this one now, and then finally we're going to select the last one. So func reader session did invalidate with error. And now if we just give it a little bit, we should see that the error gets removed straight away. Now the first thing we're going to start working on is this function over here that says func reader session NFC and the reader session did invalidate with error. So pretty much this is in case an error happens. How do we tackle it? We pretty much want to cancel our NFC routing session and then alert the user. So straight away what I'll do is I'll say if let reader error is equal to error as NFC reader error. So if it does exist, if you do have an error, what we want to do is first we want to check what kind of error it is. So we're going to say if, and I'm going to say reader error dot code is not equal to dot reader session invalidation error first, and this one, and we're going to open another bracket and we're going to say if reader error dot code is not equal to, so exactly the same thing, dot reader session invalidation user cancelled. So pretty much what we're saying is if it wasn't the user who turned off the session, well, that means we actually have an actual error, something went wrong, rather than just the user cancelling it. What we are going to do is we're going to say let alert controller equal to UI alert controller. So pretty much we're going to create an alert letting the user know exactly what happened. That alert is going to be having a title saying session invalidated. So it's telling you your NFC session is invalidated, it's no longer active. It's going to have a message. The message is going to pretty much be what the error is. So let's say your tag is not compatible or it's locked. This is pretty much what we're going to be displaying. Finally, we were going to give it a normal style of an alert, and we need a comma over here. And there we go, we finished our first function. What we need to do next actually is then present that alert that we just created. So I'm going to go where the bracket over here is, and I will say alert controller dot add action. Our action is going to be UI alert action, and we're going to have a title. Our title here is going to be okay. Our style is going to be default. Our handler is going to be new. There we go. And finally, we need a dispatch queue. So I'm going to basically say dispatch queue dot main dot async. And basically all I'll be doing is print session was unsuccessful. Now, obviously the dispatch queue here is so that if you want to present something else, you can, for example, present another page after the session is cancelled. You can tell your user, sorry, this couldn't happen or anything like that. And for that, you need to do it over here. Next, what we're going to be working on is our main function, and that is NFC and the free recession did detect tags, which is that one. Did detect tags, sorry, the top one. And basically this one is going to be the function responsible for actually writing the URL onto the tag. So we're going to start by first saying let str string is equal to the actual data. And then what we're going to be doing is we're first going to check if the tag is actually eligible for NFC writing. So to do that, first we want to check if we have only one tag or if we have more than one tag present. So we're going to say if tags.count is higher than 1, let retry interval equals to dispatch time interval dot milliseconds. Basically what we're saying, if there are more than one tag available, obviously you can't actually scan more than one tag. What we want to do is we want to stop the session and retry again after 500 milliseconds. And we're going to give a session to our user and an alert to our user. We're going to say session.alert message. And we're going to say more than one tag present. Please remove them and try again. And then what we're going to say is we're going to say dispatch queue.global.async after. Deadline is going to be now. Execute. We are actually going to leave this like that for now. And after the now, we are actually going to say plus retry interval. So starting now plus the 500 milliseconds. And for our action, we're going to say session dot restarting calling. And there we go. This is our first step towards this function. Now what we're going to be doing is we are going to continue. And we're going to say return. After that, so let's say there's only one tag. What we want to do is we want to connect to that tag after we scan it. So we're going to say let tag is equal to tags.first. And then we're going to say session dot connect to. So obviously to, we want to connect to that tag, the first tag that we detected. For our completion handler, what we're going to be doing is we are going to be opening a zigzaggy bracket. Over here, we're going to say error, question mark, like this. And then we're going to say in. Now I will say if no error. If you don't have any errors, basically what we want to do is we want to say session dot alert message. Sorry, if you do have an error, and we're going to say unable to connect to tag. And then we're going to say session dot invalidate. And we're going to return. I just want to point out something here. Now, my alert message, if something goes wrong, is unable to connect to tag. But you might want to let your user know what the actual error is. In that case, he will simply pass in error instead of unable to connect to tag. Anyway, let's move on. We're going to say tag.query endef status, the first one. And basically what we're going to be having is we're going to start with our completion handler. So we're again going to open a zigzaggy bracket. Inside of here, we're going to say endef status. We're going to say that this is equivalent to NFC endef status. We're going to say that our capacity, am I spelling something wrong here? Capacity is int. And the error is going to be equivalent to type error. Then we're going to say in. Say guard error no else. So if we don't have error, we're going to say session dot alert message. We're going to say unable to query endef status of tag. And so far, what we've been doing is we are trying to tackle any errors that might show up. Obviously, it's showing us an error message. Don't worry about it. We're going to pretty much say session.invalidate, and then we're going to say return. Wonderful. Now what we are going to be doing is finally we are going to be using a switch statement to actually try and write to the tag if there's no errors. So we are going to say switch and def status. We're going to say case dot not supported. So right now we're handling what if the tag is actually not a supported tag. So if it's, I don't know, something else, what we're going to say is we're going to say session dot alert message. And we're going to say tag is not NDEF compliant. So it's just not a type that we can support. And sorry, this should be like that without this. There we go. Then we're going to say, then we're going to invalidate our session. So we're going to say session dot invalidate. There we go. After that, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be having another case. I'll say case dot read only. So there are some tags that are just read only or they're locked, and this is the case that we're handling right now. So we're going to say case read only. So if it is a read only tag, we're going to have session dot alert message, and we're going to say this tag is locked, and then we're going to say session dot invalidate. Finally, and this is the part that you have been waiting for this whole time, is case dot read and write. Case dot read and write. So basically, what if this tag is actually read and write? And obviously we need to do it inside of our switch statement over here. There we go. So finally, what if this tag is a tag that we can write to? Well, what we want to do is we actually want to write to it. So we are basically going to say tag dot write, and we're going to select the first one, write ndef. Inside of here, we're going to say dot init, and we are going to have a record just like this. Inside of here, we're going to say NFC ndef payload dot row known type URI payload. And for our payload here, we're going to say string, and we're basically going to be passing str. There we go. Str is the thing that we created over here. Let's just keep going and I'll get back to it and explain everything. So for our completion handler now, basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to say error, the bracket around it, apologies. We're going to say in, and now we're going to say if no is error, then session dot alert message. So if there's any issue with writing to the tag, we're going to say write ndef message failed. Else, so if it is successful, what we're going to be saying is session dot alert message, and I'm basically going to say nice, this tag has been activated. Wonderful. And let's just also print a statement, and we're going to say well done. And after that, so after we successfully wrote to the tag, what we're going to be doing is session dot invalidate. Alright, so we're almost done. I just want to point out that if you had it the way I had it, which was like this, you would have had an error. All you need to do is simply just remove that extra bracket, and this should work straight away. Now we have one last final thing that we need to do, and that is, let's go over here, and we're going to type in unknown default. And basically, so if anything else happens, we're just going to say session dot alert message, and we're going to say unknown error occurred. And then, as usual, we're just going to invalidate our session. Alright, so there's one last function that we need to add, and that is func reader session did become active, and it's basically just the top one. And again, it's an empty function. So now we're actually done with all the NFC functions required. So let's just shut them off, close them, make things look better. And this is a very big function, but we got it. Now, how do we actually start the session? Well, all we need to do is that when our button is pressed, what we're going to be doing is we're going to say session is equal to NFC ndef reader session. And for the delegate, we're going to be passing self. For the queue, we're going to say nil. For invalidate after first read, we're going to say false as well. After that, what we are going to be saying is we're going to say session question mark dot alert message. So what do we actually want to tell the user when they start the session? All we want to say is hold your tag ni and NFC tag. Finally, we are going to begin our session dot begin. But before any of this, remember how over here we said we said that str is equal to the actual data. Well, let's actually give that some value. So we're going to say the actual data is equal to our URL text field over here. So I'll say URL text field dot text, and we are going to force unwrap that. And now we are actually ready to run this app and see whether or not it will work perfectly as expected or not. So I'm gonna run it and get back to you. Alright, so we finally have the app here on my phone, and as you can see I have an NFC tag with me. I sell these on my website. They're smart pet tags. You can put it on your dog, and if it gets lost, someone can scan it and they will have all your information. Anyway, let's go ahead and put a link here, and I'm gonna start with YouTube. So I'll say https www.youtube.com. There we go. And if I click on activate tag, my NFC session will start. I can then bring the tag close to it, and as you can see, the tag is now activated. Now let's see if it will be able to be read. As you can see, as soon as I bring my tag closer to my phone, a notification pops up with YouTube, and if I click on it, it will take me straight away to YouTube. If I have it installed, it will take me to it installed. If it's not, then it will take me to Safari. Let's try that one more time. So I'm going to click on activate tag, and as you can see, I'll activate it with YouTube. Now, all I need to do is honestly just, and this will work outside of the app as well, all I need to do is just bring the NFC tag closer to the phone. As you can see, it works. Let's try a different website. Let's just try having something like TapAway, which is my website, tapaway.com. If I click on activate, as you can see, now it's activated. And as you can see, again, my website here, and you can go to it. And I actually wrote my website wrong. It should be .com.au, so let's just fix that before it loads. .au. And there you go. It now has my website on it, and this works straight away. So all you need to do, click on activate, bring your phone close to the tag, and it will scan straight away. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you really did enjoy this episode. Please make sure you leave a subscribe, leave a like, and if you have any feedback or any comments, make sure you comment them in the comment section below. Get in contact with me if you want me to do any project for you. Thanks so much for watching.